Hey everybody, it's Tommy, and you're on the lifeboat. What's happening? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill a little time. Uh, I've said on here before that Aaron kind of, does the scatter gun, shoot from the hip kind of thing, and I get that completely. He's that's kind of how he rolls. So I'm waiting on a call, and you know what? Sometimes those calls take a really long time, and if that call doesn't come in until 6, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be sitting here going, "Oh, I could have done the lifeboat." So I thought I'd fire the thing up and we'd hang out. Now I don't have anything to talk about, but that never really stopped us before. So tell you what. Most of you sent me emails and said the Delphi case. We don't want to hear about that woman that abused her kids. That was the vast majority. I had about 4 of you that went in the other direction, but the vast majority of you said you wanted to hear. Hey, Rev girl, got your email. Yeah, it's a strange case, the Delphi thing, and the more I look into it, and the whole Odinist connection, there's a huge Odinist Asatru group of people inside prison. And I may not agree with everything that the boys believe. In fact, I really don't believe anything that the boys believe. And they tend to have very short haircuts. And they tend to not be very nice to a lot of people who I happen to really like, right? Just based on things like what they look like. That is who those cats were in there. There ain't no ritual, nothing in that religion. I promise you, I lived with like 5 of them. It's just not a ritual religion thing, kind of a setup. So that thing is kind of fascinating, man. That case is kind of fascinating, and it's starting to burrow under my skin a little bit. Multitasking? Oh, you don't know. You don't talk multitasking. I swear to you, people, for the month of December, every single time I'm answering a text, I get another one. Every single time I'm answering a comment, I get another one. And I can only answer about maybe 10% of the comments that come in. I can't make a dent in it like I used to, but I try to take about an hour every day and just sort of haul through it as fast as possible, which was a lot easier when I had an iPad. I started looking at them today. I just got to get another one. And the truth of the matter is that iPad probably did the first 750 or something like that videos. I was shooting on an iPad for probably the first 700 videos. So it really, it has given us so much more probably than it needed to. So I'm not at all mad at it. And I'm not even particularly mad at the pussycat. Hello, Heather in the library. Heather's in the library. I'm a big fan of libraries. Should probably mention that. Honestly, one of my favorite places on planet Earth. It was one of the only places in prison that you could pop in. Thank you, Davey. It's nice to be seen. The library in the joint was one of the only places that you could go into, and you don't see bars, right? You just see books and shelves. So it's kind of like working in the factory where when you go into a library, you're just in a library, until a cop walks by or another dude does something stupid. But and I taught classes. I taught a class on how to make money in the stock market. I had been the president of a publicly traded company, and had done a decent amount of stuff with stocks, and so I mean I was certainly better off than most of the people I was talking to. So I love books too, man. I love the smell of books. I cannot read a book, and it's probably because of prison. But you're right. You're absolutely right. This too, man, for real. When you're homeless, libraries could be a safe space for hours a day. There's a lot of truth to that. And do you know something? I think we've got like 3 or 4 librarians that I know of for a fact on the lifeboat that I know of for a fact. I know of 4, which is just crazy. Hey, I am the noise opera. I'll tell you something. The noise opera's been here a very long time, and you don't want to mess with them. So you heard the man. Smack the thumb up button, right? Handle your business. Handle your business. Shishi from Jersey, good to see you. Look at that. Okay, make that. We just keep getting more. Boy, do we have a lot of librarians. My dad retired from IDOC after 25 years. How cool is that? How cool. Yeah, I love the smell of books, right? See, this was a prison thing, although I'll tell you a story that you guys will love. Miss Dragon. People, if you have not subscribed to Miss Dragon, you want to see fun. She does fun shorts, and she's got the exact same attitude as every single person here. It's more bonding content. Please put that link up. I don't care which one of you, but could I please see that? I confess I'm an old book sniffer. Huckleberry, you're good. I'm not mad at you. Reading, a great escape, maybe the best escape, right? I say this and I get people that push back on this, but I'm telling you the gospel truth. There was a very long period of time in the joint where I was busting out a book a day. Like I just read a book a day from the time that I got up to the time I laid back down. Well, that's funny because I laid down all day long. I mean, I was locked in a cell 24 hours a day. You don't do much sitting. It's not really set up that way. So I spent a great deal of time laying down, but all I did was read. There was nothing else to do. You and Reese need to do another live. What would you do if I told you that Reese and I are kicking around the idea of maybe doing a weekly show? So we're going to definitely do more shows. We're probably going to go live tomorrow on the lifeboat, just me and Reese. So we'll be doing some stuff. I promise you. It'll be during the day. It's never going to be on the fives. If you want to catch stuff like that, it's going to pop up between the fives. The fives are just lifeboat stuff. We just get together and we try to connect and stuff. I was gifted an old book about mountaineering, which was clearly owned by a pipe tobacco smoker at one point. Thing smells like time traveling to an antique version of heaven. You know what? That's a great freaking comment. I'm sorry. This is one of the things that makes books magical, isn't it? For real. I have a collection of Alice in Wonderland books that would knock you down, right? I have more Alice books, I promise, than anybody you're going to meet in your life. And unless you happen to meet a guy named Marvin Gardner, and he's probably divided his collection up when he passed away among all of his kids, or maybe he donated it to a museum, but he had a bigger collection than me. But there's not a lot of people that do. Like, I really have a lot of very old Alice in Wonderland books, and I love the smell. Heather, that's a cool thing to say. You and Reese, yeah, she is. She's pretty cool to hang out with. She's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that show. My whole arm is all Alice in Wonderland. That's Alice on the door. I got to mirror this thing. That door behind me's got an Alice thing on it, and Alice is everywhere. The bookshelf behind me is all Alice stuff. I'm very, very big into it. I'm very, very big into it. Yes and no. Yes and no. Scarlett Cook asks, "Hi Tommy, watching you and Aaron on or this morning about how different religions are accommodated in prison. Are services scheduled for what the population wants? If somebody's complaining, then they're going to do services. That person can be a Satanist. If they can fill out a paper and say, why are there no services for me? There will be services for them. Shag Nasty 619, good to see you. I can't see that very well, but it kind of looks military. If it is, thanks for your service. If it's not, thanks to everybody else who serves and your family members who do. Got a lot of love for our military. I have had many collections of the Chronicles of Narnia, Narnis. I wore out many in my youth, still love them at 61. I'm guessing that was Narnia. I could be wrong. I do like Narnia. My brother-in-law had a boat called the Dawn Treader, a sailboat, beautiful boat, really, really good boat, actually, called the Dawn Treader. We're fans of that series. I'm fans of everything that man wrote. I think some of his best work is stuff other than that. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. We're good. I got a text from him right at the time I went live. I'm so glad it wasn't saying, "Hey, I'm ready for you." I really would have looked like a loser. I should probably put the sound on, but if I put the sound on this thing, it sounds like a video game. Like, it is just awful. I've got it on. It is absolutely the slowest Narnia book, Miss Dragon, but it's the coolest name for a boat. Jilbo Baggins, I'm shocked. I think everybody else here is shocked. Who saw this coming? I'm a fantasy fan. It says Jilbo Baggins. Yes. Oh, I love it. Hey, make it make sense. Good to see you. Good evening, all. Well, good evening to you too. Okay. So we're on Aaron watch. You hearing that? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys a funny book story and you're gonna dig this. This is a great book story. Mick, you're gonna love this. So I'm in the Lewisburg special management unit. This is the place you go when you screw up really bad. Like you stab a bunch of people, or you attack a cop, or you do something really stupid. You end up in this place, and it's the worst of the worst of the worst on planet Earth, bar none. And every day, every day, they would somebody would get gassed. They would hit somebody with pepper spray every single day. Because that's just the way this place was. They would do a cell extraction where a whole team goes in, but they're sending gas into a cell every day, and it's always a white guy. But it doesn't matter because every single cell, right? So as soon as you hear the cops coming, you would get up on the window and you'd press your face against the mesh and just try to like put your lips out because you could open our windows, but they were just steel mesh, and you jam your face against it, and then all of that stuff would just come out. And to make a long story short, when I first got there, the fellas wanted their pictures of their wives. They wanted letters from their wives, and we weren't allowed to have any of that. So the day I got there, they said, tomorrow when the food comes, you're not allowed to turn your trays back in. You jack the food slot, put your arm out. And they gassed everybody. Every single white cell got gassed. And we did this every single day until they just gave us the pictures of our girlfriends and our wives. They tapped out. But those cells every one of them got gassed. I don't know how many times, right? So when I first got there, they had been doing this crap even before I arrived, right? They were in the middle of it. So I got there and my new cellmate goes, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" First of all, there was a big above before that. But once we figured it out how we were going to get along, he says, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" I said, "Yeah, that would be great." He cooks up coffee and I drink it. And I said, "Hey, do you have any books?" He goes, "I have the entire Saxon series, right? And the Saxon series is a good one. All the convicts like it. It's a great series about Uhtred of Brandenburg. I don't know if you guys read this. Great, great series. Bernard Cornwall. There's like 11 books. Great series of historical fiction." But I said, "Oh, great." So I go down and I grab the books and I just start reading and I'm hauling. And I got the smell, right? Like the book doesn't smell right, but I'm not clicking to it. I'm not clicking to it because at this point, like when I hit when I swung at the cop and got in trouble and all that stupid stuff, I was at a custody level 2. I was at a very nice prison, but I just wasn't there very long. So now I'm at a place where it's completely different. And I don't know the smell that I'm smelling, right? Had I been at a level 4 yard, I would have known. But after reading about 40 pages and drinking my second cup of coffee, I did what people do after having their second cup of coffee. Yeah, that's what I did. I decided to use the lavatory, right? Sadly, prior to using the lavatory, I did not wash my hands thoroughly, which I probably would have needed to do with steel wool because every time I turned that page, those books had been hit by pepper spray 40 times by the time I got there, maybe more. That dude had been in the SMU for 4 years. I don't know how many. It had been 30 times just on the run that they were on because they had done 30 consecutive days. So I grabbed my guy with my hands, and the second I did, I went, "Oh, like," and you did something wrong, and you're like, "Oh, bummer," and you're trying to be cool about it, but there's really no way to fake this. And my cellmate goes, "Ah, did you not wash your hands before you went to the bathroom?" And I went, "No, I didn't." And he goes, "Oh man, those books have been pepper sprayed like 100 times." I said, "How many people have you gotten with this other than me?" And he's like, "Every cellie I've had." And I said, "Well, that's really uncool." And he's like, "Oh, you're going to do it to the dude you get as a cellmate after I leave." He said, "Everybody here does it. And tomorrow when we go out to the rec cages, I'm going to tell everybody how bad your day was." And you know what? I did the exact same thing. He left about 11 months later. We managed to not fight each other. But I did it to a guy coming in. Like, I mean, it was the exact same routine. And the funniest part was, like, before I said to him, "You want a cup of coffee?" And I'm cooking it. You have to start a fire because there's no way to make coffee, right? So I got a fire on the floor and I'm cooking the coffee. And the dude says to me, "Oh, no way. You got the Saxon series?" I was like, "Yes, I do. And feel free to start reading. I'll make you a cup of coffee." But it was just one of those hazing things that you do in there. But everything in that place had been pepper sprayed. Like if you sat down in just a pair of boxer shorts, you were in trouble. It was just such an awful, awful place. It really was. But there you go. You want a there's there's your pepper spray. There's your pepper spray story. That was and I mean in the old book story. There's your old book story. Yeah, the books will pick stuff up. The smell of pepper spray is very, very unique. And after you've been exposed to it a couple of times, you'll never forget it. But at that juncture, I hadn't come across any of it. I'm grateful to be a girl for potty purposes. I will let you know this. So my brother is probably one of the most famous dudes on earth as far as eating peppers, right? Like that's my brother's the kind of the Babe Ruth of pepper eating, Johnny Scoville. That would be his silver play button on the wall behind me. He's got a very large channel. And more than I would rather ride the lightning. I want to tell you something. Let me tell you something. Joe's either done time or he's a cop. Joe's either done some time or he's a cop because I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Tase me 50 times. Don't spray me once. Pepper spray is the worst. And the stuff that they use, oh, Louis Lamar. Every single Louis Lamar book ever written is in every single unit. I cannot, and I've had to read almost all of them because you'll be on a lockdown and there's nothing else there. Former cop, says Joe. Got it. Checks out because the only people that say stuff like that are people that have done both. And Joe, you'll appreciate this. What they use in the feds is the 602, right? This stuff sticks to you. It looks like a cross between pepper spray and shaving cream, right? So it's like napalm, and this stuff comes out and sticks to you. It's the worst crap in the entire world. It really is the very, very, very inappropriate heifer nails. It brings new meaning to the term burning your biscuits. Yeah. So the greatest chili heads on planet Earth are all females. Every one of them. The people that can eat peppers better than anyone alive, everyone I've ever met was a woman, right? My brother's good, but all of the best are women. And they'll tell you the same thing, that you can make a mistake the same way that a guy can. And it's all bad. Eyes, lips, you just don't want to go close to anything that's pink. That's what my brother always says. If there's something on your body that's pink, try to avoid it until you've scrubbed your hands 500 times. Bought a used book for $2 one time, and when I got home, a personal photograph of the Beatles and a handwritten John Lennon poem fell out. Good Lord. You have got to be kidding me. Oh, R.M. Blake. A lot of people have experienced pepper spray, but to have experienced enough pepper spray and enough of tases to say, I would rather do 1,000 tases than pepper spray, it's probably somebody who has been hit with both on more than one occasion. And pepper spray gets used a lot. Getting tased is a little different. But you're right. So many people can get pepper spray. They pull it out quick. They are very, very quick to pepper spray. But the shocker is, you really got to screw up to get tased, especially with prongs. I mean, it's one you can go buy a taser anywhere, and they call it a dry tase among the fellas, right? That's a tase where you hold the 2 points against somebody and you fire it. That will not knock a dude down. I don't care what anyone says. If the dude's of any good size, it's not going to knock him down. It might anger him, but those ones that they got that fire out those the filaments that go into you. I got hit in the arm with those, and those things will bring you down. They will make every single everything in your body flex at the exact same time, and you turn into like a piece of wood and fall over. There's no way to there's just no way to keep your body limp. It's a terrible thing. And I watched an inmate get hit 3 times with that thing. Like he obviously had been tased a bunch. We were shooting him in the middle of the day room during like a small mini little riot that we had in Phoenix. And as the prongs were coming out, he was already swinging his arm like to catch him. And he got the first, I think I think the third one might've been the one that dropped him, but he got shot 3 times. And you get two two things that go in. There's two leads. There's like a, so you got a ground and then they got to use pliers because the thing's got a barb. So when it goes India, right, when it goes into your skin, the barbs pop out and it holds it from going back in the skin. And they take a pair of pliers and they squeeze the barbs back in and pull it out. And then they pat you and send you back to the, to your room. It's not a good place to be. Snotface, I don't think you missed anybody. But if you did, Snotface says hello. I can't believe that is the coolest thing I've ever heard, Huckleberry. It really is. That is one of the coolest things I've ever heard. But listen, I am a person that buys and sells watches, right? And if I could tell you so many watch stories like this, so many watch stories. A really good one happened in Nevada where a woman bought a couch at a Salvation Army. And when she brought the couch home, her son found a fake Rolex Daytona Cosmograph from the 70s. And when mom saw it and said to her boy, it's fake, he wore it to school, right? For 2 days, this kid wore this thing to school. And then a family friend came over and went, I don't think that's fake. And they said, no, we've been comparing it to the pictures on the internet, said mom. And the guy said, yeah, well, this one's about 40 years old, 50 years old. And well, it ended up being worth about $600,000. And she bought the couch for $30. And the woman went back to the Salvation Army to try to find out who dropped off the couch. How's that for a stand-up human being? She did not, however, find out who dropped off the couch. So the watch went to auction. But that's a pretty cool story. And these kind of things happen all the time, right? There is a story, you can Google it, of somebody that bought a painting in New England. And the painting had actually been painted on the reverse side of one of our famous documents. I don't want to quote which one, but if you Google it, you'll find it. Would it be safe to say the name Scoville is a nickname named after? You're good. It is a stage name, I guess, more than at this point. It is definitely more of a kind of a name change. Originally, it was to kind of protect our kids. The YouTube's creepy. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are great, but the people that don't like you aren't. And it's creepy. So my brother, when he was starting off in the pepper game, became Johnny Scoville. And, we tell stories. We're storytellers, right? That's what we do. So my brother does the same thing on his channel. So he tells stories, and his brother's in the joint. His brother was Tommy Scoville. So when I got out of the joint and I wanted to do what I was going to do, I'm going to come on here and use my real name and out my brother, right? And my kids and his kids. We got doxxed anyway. Somebody went and went out of their way. And my kid did get, nude photos sent to her and all kinds of nice stuff. We live in a sick world, people. We really do. And the amazing thing is, I don't know what I'm doing to anger people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why what I do really gets some people really angry, but what I do really seems to get some people really, really angry. It might be the convict thing. I don't know. Not everybody is as accepting. Some people, and I understand why, but some people are not going to be as forgiving of somebody that has done the things that I've done, So that's not always it. I get a lot of attention. It's just not always it's not always great attention. Sister bought an old house from an old lady. Well, that checks out. Were there old things in this old house that she bought from the old lady? While cleaning, we found over 3,000. Sorry, I'm losing. Here we go. Tell you what, we'll do it right. Sorry, but I start looking like Homer Simpson. Be really honest. I start looking like Homer Simpson with these. All right. While cleaning, we found over $3,000 in cash hidden all over. Called the family as she passed, and they told her to keep it. There was another group of people that dug up, or they claimed that they found all of this really, really old money buried in mason jars. And these geniuses went on like one of those morning talk shows like Good Morning America or one of those to brag about it. And the incredible thing is they had ripped it off from somebody's house, right? And they got busted. Like, not really the whole laying low thing. I guess they didn't read that part of the How to Break the Law handbook, but you're not supposed to like go on television with the stuff that you stole and brag about it. Oh, how cool is that? My Irish grandma had a PhD in library science and worked at Yale. a doctorate in library science. That has got to be the coolest woman ever. Boy, you want some research done? Call the doctor. Like, that's heavy, man. And be Good evening, Holly from Texas. Holly, we're killing time until I get the phone call that says I'm going live over on Aaron's channel. Not to bag on Aaron because he is one of my favorite people. I really dig the guy. I no joke dig the guy. However, I have learned that when he says we're going live at such and such a time, if that time corresponds to when I'm going to do the lifeboat, I'm just going to fire it up. And when he pages me, I'll go. But we're liable to get through an entire show. Oh my Lord, Kelly. Didn't see that coming. She was an amazing, brilliant woman who also drank a fifth of vodka a day. That's amazing. Good Lord. I have seen what a fifth of vodka a day will do to somebody. Seventh Son. And let me tell you something, people. This does no justice for Seventh Son. When can we expect you to write the book Unaliving? I don't know. I can't write, man. That's the problem. Seventh has been here, people. That 11-month does absolutely no justice whatsoever to how long he has been here. That's how long he has been a member, but he's been here, I think, since the very first day that I fired this thing up. Tommy, hey, Captain and crew, I appreciate the boat being here so much lately. Back from my my little girl has had a bad infection. I'm sorry, man. Ear infections are the worst. They really are. Ear infections are the worst. There is a game night tonight, Nacho's mom. In fact, we're waiting right now to get for me to get a text from Aaron to tell me that he sent the link and he's ready to roll. The second I get that, I'm gonna head over there. You can head over at the exact same time because if I know Aaron, as the link is coming here, like I'm sure that you think, you get these visions in your head of like creators hanging out for 25, 35 minutes and talking and doing what you do before you go live. But all of us are doing this on like 4 different channels and answering emails. And usually it's honest to God, like 3 minutes before we go live, I'll get a link. And it's like that with a lot of people. People have done, on this show too. It's just, I'd love to have a lot more time in the day, but it's just getting, hey, Phil, good to see you, man. It's getting a little bit tougher. Ben Turner. I am going to play Scarlet. At least that's what I have been told. That is sad, Kelly. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, Lady Crispin. Back from the brink. Thank you for all of the thoughts and prayers for all of you who don't know this person but pulled for them. This is the person that I was coming on and asking you all to pull for all last week. This was Aaron did do a short live about an hour ago. He's going to do the game thing tonight. Is what he's getting ready to do. Yeah, thanks everybody. And I mean that. This is the deuce is to everybody that, thank you. That's from me. That's a big thanks to all of you. That's right. See, Steve knows. That's what happens when you go off and act like you're 24 and start moshing and hanging out and, in pits and being crazy in the middle of I don't know what we have. I can't really call it anything anymore. With stuff going around, I guess. Hey guys, I appreciate this channel being here. Thank you, Ali. That's so cool. I think everybody needs a little bit of support this month. You know what, Lady Crispin? That's pretty easy to say now, isn't it? It's always worth it after the fact. I think stressed out the entire boat for a week, but don't worry about it. Sorry. Wasn't like I was getting used to sleeping. When does the new kitty come home? Roberta asks, when does the new kitty come home? Ah, see that? There's always somebody that wants to throw a A monkey wrench into all of the good plans. I would imagine that sometime next week. Uh, yeah, Renee, that's a nice. Thank you, Renee. Tommy Bird, I'm with Renee, and I think I speak on behalf of the hundreds of people here right now that we all hope that that your girl feels better. And let's do this for your girl, huh? Drosh Marouche asks, Captain, were you in Scientology? I was not. Here's what happens, Drosh. No, I was a. What happened to me was I was a drug addict and I spent a lot of time addicted to drugs, and it caused me to break a lot of laws, which put me in prison. I got sober in prison, and I got out and started a channel that mostly deals with sobriety. But because of the fact that I have remained somewhat articulate and I don't curse a lot, YouTube creators like having me on to talk about what happens if somebody gets when they get arrested or if they're going to prison. I sort of work as a consultant to a lot of true crime and channels like that. So when Aaron started to cover the Danny Masterson trial, I went on his channel as one of those experts. But when we got on the phone, we realized that we knew some of the same people who were Scientologists. I was a criminal and a scam artist for a really long time. And one of the scams that I did a lot of work in was business opportunity. And business opportunity scams, for whatever reason, are very, very popular with Scientologists. So I worked with a couple of OT8s. I knew two personally, two people that had achieved OT8 who were scam artists with me. And when I brought their names up, I just on the outside chance, I said to Aaron, do you know these people? And he's like, know them? They're good friends of mine, or they used to be before they were forced to never talk to them again. So we had a lot to talk about other than what we had just talked about. And then when Aaron was talking about going out to the sentencing, my best friend was flying in from Australia. And I said to him, hey, Alan, how'd you like to go out and see the Danny Masterson sentencing? Some people have said some things about, if he comes out there, there's going to be people waiting for him and all this stuff. So I just thought, you know what, maybe a couple of big bald guys go out with him. Right now we're three really huge bald guys with like 650 pounds between us or something. So we just went out to hang out is what we did. And it got fun and silly. And I got to know him pretty well, and we've become friends. And through him, I got to meet a lot of other Scientologists, both first and second gens. And I also, at the sentencing, was blessed to meet the Jane Does, and I consider them friends, and that was life changing for me. That really was. That was life changing for me, and that whole process opened up a lot of doors for me to learn an awful lot about this cult, and to learn it from people that were in it, not watching videos or, not that that's not fantastic, but you sit down and talk to these people, and you get to know them, and none of them judge you for anything that you've done, which is remarkable. You never see any judgment in these people's eyes. I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2", but I'm thick. You know what I mean? I don't know, what do they call it? Endomorph? Is that the body style? Like even when I put on weight, I don't ever look really different. Like my fingers get bigger, my wrists get bigger, my hands get bigger. When I was 280 and change. At one point I weighed like 280 and change, and I'll get a picture. I can show you a picture of me at that weight, and I'll bring it in here and let you guys see it. And I just look bigger. I don't really, I never get, where I sort of belly out or anything. I'm one of those guys. Wow. Rosemary. See that? Rosemary gets it. I did drop the mustache. The bottom half of it tends to start getting white, and then, you got to deal with all that. So, correct. Eyes blue. Yeah, you should see, my ankles are like this big, like my wrists I have the biggest wrists you've ever seen. My hands, I'm just a big dude, like body style. I'm, yeah, I'm thick. Like I promise you, my hands, my feet, like I'm just my ankles, my calves, I'm just a big dude. And I did a lot of skiing growing up, played a lot of football, did a lot of things. I did. And that's the one I was actually thinking, Fee, that I'd bring on here. Fee's seen it. There is a photo that I have that I'll post it. Maybe I'll yeah, I was shaking hands with Drew Peterson. I got a picture of me and Drew when I was shaking hands with Drew, I was about as heavy as I'd ever been. That was pretty much the top of my weight. Um, Resin Temple. Let me tell you something. We have one of the best bass players you would ever see here as well. We should get the two of you together. There is a super talented bass player here. Uh, we should pair you up. You know, here's the deal with the allergies, people. It's so strange because it's not like I'm stuffed up. It's just like I constantly have to sniff. I'm all right too if like when I do these shows, I kind of keep my head tipped back. But if I'm leaning over or working on a watch or doing anything where my head's down, I'm screwed. That's what it is. Yeah, we have big gloves. Um, you know, who started that rumor was my great grandfather, but there's nothing to it. Uh, Not a shirt to get your driver's license. This is one of my favorite shirts ever. Actually, this is my. There was a animated Captain Tommy for a long time. If you go back and look at the old videos, we had a like a car- caricature kind of a thing drawn out of Captain Tommy, and it's in this. I'm wearing this one. I love this. I love this shirt. It's one of my all-time favorite shirts. Yeah, the cartoon Tommy. I haven't used the cartoon Tommy in a long time. I probably ought to pull him back out. That's not such a bad idea, Jennifer. Somebody else mentioned this to me the other day. Um, yeah, see, it's kind of nautical. I think this is kind of nautical too. Uh, yeah, somebody else was saying something about a humidifier, and I'm starting to think that a humidifier might not be such a bad idea. I'm at least willing to give it a try at this point. Wait a second. This better work, Bliss and Zoe. I'm telling you right now, this better work. And I'm telling you why. Because every time somebody has given me a home remedy with Vicks, it's worked. For real. Every home remedy I've ever been given with Vicks has worked, including some that I thought there was no chance of. So now, if this one doesn't clear my nose, I'm going to be so butthurt. I'm telling you, at least in a Gilligan way. Yeah. You absolutely swear by it. I hope so. You're right. I do. You're right. I absolutely do need an old Greek fisherman's hat and a cowbell. I've come so close to buying a cowbell so many times. But the next time I see a cowbell, I'm pulling the trigger. We get so many. Did you say you're oncologist? Can we get some thoughts and prayers? Just because the O word always brings that out in me. Vicks on your feet with socks at night. I'm on that. Martha backs you up. And I'll tell you something. Martha's been pretty sharp since she got here. I'm yeah, I think I'm pretty willing to give this one a shot. Um, by the way, I had about 3 or 4 different people ask me what the product I'm using to fall asleep, and I don't care. I'm putting it up. So it's called Mellow Vibes 2-to-1 Dreamberry. It is called Dreamberry because this is not a product that is sold for the idea of sitting on the couch and catching a buzz. This is literally designed and sold as a way to put you to sleep and is recommended specifically colon and breast adenocarcinoma. I happen to know a little bit about adenocarcinoma. You're in my thoughts and prayers. I promise. I mean that. Remission from. Awesome, Mary. Good for you. Good for you. That's awesome. And I'm going to put up a for those of you who live in places where this stuff is only white socks. Oh, that's important. That is important. I would not have. I probably would not have used white socks. I probably would have used old colored ones. So I'm glad that you said that. Um, Really? Tampa Bay man, I have been trying forever to get sponsored by Navage. I'm not kidding. Because I don't use a neti pot, but I use a Navage and I use it a lot. I did not do it today. Admittedly, I did not do it today, and now I feel stupid. I'm going to put the name of this product up for those that live in places where they can get it. I'm going to put it up in the what you call it. What do you call it? Oh yeah, and by the way, there's probably 4 videos where I navage. There might be 5 videos where I navage. I forced my brother to do it in a video once too. This is a great question. Oh, yes, this is a good question. If you use patterned socks, will your snot turn floral? What does the color of the socks matter? I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess it's because the white socks are made of a different material than the colored socks. The colored socks are probably a polyester more often than not. Am I right? Is that where we're going? Because that's funny, though. You're good. Um, I'm gonna, yeah, I can draw. I can put it in the description box. Hey, Kenneth, I can do that. I can put it in the description box. Resin Temple, get some sleep, man. I believe that. You just caught the cowbell skit last year. I'm sorry, but I'm amazed. Yeah. So, you know what? Let me let me let me completely so technically she was a caseworker in a drug unit, but she has the paperwork to be a counselor and a therapist. So, but she was so far from either of those two things, it was incredible. Yes, Tampa Bay, Fiona, Tampa Bay. Uh, Fiona was affectionately referred to for a very long time around here as Linda because she would back in the old days when there was 9 people in the in the chat. If I got really off topic or something like that, Linda might text me back into topic. Um, but we didn't want to out Linda, so I mean out Fee, so we called her Linda. And then now I just don't care if I'm not on topic anymore. Oh, sadly. Adelson tapes leaked. Charlie talking to Donna when he was in jail after the guilty verdict. Boy, does that make me want to end this show. I'm sorry, it really does. Boy, does that make me want to end this show. Kelly, thank you so much. Kelly, listen, if by some chance you didn't write down what you wanted to, but you accidentally did that, put a couple of dollar signs in front of what you want to write down and I'll put it up there. I hate it when that happens because it's happened to me before. Yeah, the truth comes out. You were Linda. Don't fear the reaper. Yeah. More cowbell. What makes you think I didn't clock Drew? Just out of curiosity. What makes you think that in all the time I was with that man, I didn't hit him a couple of times? Just out of curiosity. I worked in a very small room with Drew for a very long time. Anyone else ever chew Red Man and sneeze while wearing a motorcycle helmet? No, but I did once put about a half a can of Copenhagen in my lip, thinking I was cool in high school while skiing moguls with the Olympic team was training at the mountain I was at, and we were just groms that like hung out and tried to look cool and skied right behind him kind of thing every day. Um, but I fell and hit my face on the snow and swallowed the entire thing, and I threw up for about 7 hours. The Drew Peterson thing is out, hon. It's on right now. It is on. You can see that over on Esoteric Atlanta with my friend Bryce. Hi, Tommy. New quiet watching for a few weeks. Love what you do. Well, Kelly, we are glad that you're here, and we're glad that you're not quiet anymore. It's not really the quiet kind of channel. So, but everybody starts that way. But I'm glad that you're now speaking up, Kelly, and I'm glad that you're here. Oh, no, I think that that's excellent. I really do. And I think this should be for anything. It is, if somebody goes into a courtroom and makes a false testimony against somebody, they should get whatever the sentence is that they testified against the person. Because it's pretty messed up that you can send the person to prison for life by lying on the stand, which will cost you 12 years, right? That doesn't seem like it's a very equitable trade. So I agree with you because usually, like, I know a guy that went to prison for lying to the FBI. That's what he was in there for no other charge other than lying to the FBI. And by the way, if you're from Utah, you're going to know who I'm talking about because there was a girl that disappeared. I believe it was an American Fork, and they never located the body. And this guy was hiding in the feds, right? So what I mean by that is he had a state charge in Utah, and that one looks really bad, right? Because he had something to do with the disappearance, the assault, and the disappearance and assault, the assumed assault of this girl. Foul play is involved, and she was seen getting into their car at the school. It's a bad case. Somebody from Utah is going to know this case, but so he's in the feds on what he pulls out his paperwork. It looks cool. He's in there for lying to the FBI. We're like, okay, no big deal. So somebody we know in the prison is from Utah, and they get the Utah paper delivered to the prison. So we go to page 6, and this dude's face is on there. And right below is the picture of the young girl that he disappeared. Suffice to say, he was not there too much longer. And to the best of my knowledge, he is still yet to be convicted, but he's a bad man. He is. ABC has snippets of the call and mentor jury lawyer. Oh, cool. We'll have whole tracks on his YouTube channel tonight. I wonder have any of you guys checked my friends over at Surviving the Survivor? They're I don't know anybody more on this case than them. You know what I mean? Like they're close friends with with the victim's family. They've really gotten involved in this. 10 hours of barfing, red man. I can see that. I don't doubt that actually. That SJ says, I don't know this case, but we'll need to look into it. SJ is another 70s child, but we won't hold that against you. Scarlett Cook is back on the boat. STS played a small part on their live they did at 5. Thanks, Kelly. See that? Man, Kelly, you're all right. I like it. Jennifer says, I joined them as a subscriber. His mom is one of the people on the channel. They're a great family. That literally is a family channel. Like when you go on that channel, his wife handles making sure that everything is set up and right. And if something goes wrong, his wife, like last night when everything went bad, his wife came in and saved it because she's way better at this than I am. Shut up. Ego next door. Okay, let's tell you what. We'll bring you into it. Are you ready? Here we go. Actress Evan Rachel Wood forged or made up fake FBI papers, gave them to court for child custody, and has not even been charged. Debbie, that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I had no clue. I will look into this. I really would. And you know what sucks? I always liked her. I always liked her. I don't anymore. That's terrible. I'm going to look into this. Ego. What we were talking about before that was something called Surviving the Survivor. It's a channel I go on a lot that does true crime. And recently, in a case that got more attention than worldwide, got more attention than just about any other I've seen in a really long time, which was the Dan Markel murder trial. He was a law professor in Florida, and he was married to a law professor. He happened to be Jewish, and she was not, and that started to create problems as the marriage started to fall apart. He wanted the children to very much be raised Jewish. She did not, and they started to fight over that, and it got very, very ugly. The custody battle started to kind of rage back and forth, and the brother of the brother-in-law of the college professor, Dan Markel, hired some people to have him killed. And in the process, there's gang stuff. There's, the Latin Kings are supposedly involved and all of these different things. It's really, really kind of a rugged case, but I go on there a lot. So, all right, Nick, we'll see you, brother. Please take care. Killy Billy. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Love this community. I'm pretty damn fond of it myself. Wendy is Jewish too. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you, Nacho's mom, but not as struck as Dan. Okay. And I know that she also wanted to relocate to Southern Florida, right? She did a documentary. Who is she? Oh, you talking about Evan Rachel Wood? Trashing Marilyn Manson. Gotcha. Gotcha. So I read Manson. It's because I do so much true crime. I read Manson and instantly thought, you know what? You probably are meaning, there you go. See, I'm old. I thought Charles Manson, but I'm old and it's true crime. My mother converted to marry my step. That happens a lot. I mean, that happens a lot. Usually, especially back in the day, very often when couples got together, they used to try to like decide if the child would be raised, and what that kind of stuff used to get discussed, and people used to actually be able to like work on things, and we used to be a much different place. Arguing over relocation, she lost in court, had to stay in Tallahassee. Her mother, Donna, is the mastermind and was just arrested after 9 years. It's pretty good summation right there. Yes, hoax against Manson. I've heard this from a lot of people. This is a very, very popular opinion. I don't have any information, and I would feel stupid if I weighed in on it. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about it, so I would hate to. I have no problem throwing my opinions around like there's no tomorrow, as long as they're my opinions and I'm basing them on something. You know what I mean? I kind of want to know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Love you all. Daycare mom wanted to talk. I understand that. Sorry. It is a funny way to communicate, is it not? No, there's no question it is. Here's the deal, though. What we normally do is that we talk primarily about addiction because most of the people who are on the lifeboat are suffering from one addiction or another. Very often it's drugs or alcohol, but it could be anything. And this is really a channel that's kind of dedicated to living your best life. Because although I talk about true crime and I talk about Scientology and I talk about all kinds of other things, I spent over 30 years of my life addicted to heroin. And I'm not a stupid guy. I was the president of a publicly traded company at one time in my life, right? I'd been in films. I did some of the most exciting things in the world. I was a professional athlete. And then I started robbing banks to pay for drugs after being fired from a job that paid a lot of money and blackballed within an industry that I worked in. I became a criminal. And this channel is really about trying to help people maybe appreciate a little bit more what they got. I've said many times in the past that I am so thoroughly convinced that freedom is wasted on the free, right? The average American or the average person walking this planet has no idea how blessed they are just to be walking, right? I put myself in. I'm not saying that I didn't deserve to be in there, but I got an appreciation for what it feels like to have nothing, right? To have your freedom taken. And again, I'm not stupid. I was a fairly intelligent cat, But if drugs could send me into a bank, then, how easy would it be to send you into the arms of another person or into a DWI car crash, right? If an intelligent guy can end up robbing a crap load of banks, your problems may not be as big, but drugs and alcohol are definitely working a whole lot of people. So is gambling, so is overeating, right? Whatever your habit is. And the reason this is called the Lifeboat, it was named by the people on the channel. I started it and I called it the Tommy Scoville Show. And I hated that name from day one. And I said, when you guys come up with a name that fits, we're going to go with it. And we had a little contest. And at the very last second, somebody else threw in a name that wasn't even on the list to be voted with. And everybody at once was like, oh my God, because one of the things that we said here all the time was someone would show up and go, oh, you guys are talking about drugs. I'm an alcoholic. I'm sorry. Nah, dude. What difference does it make? I mean, honestly, what difference does it make? We're all in the same boat, whether you're gambling, right? Whether you're working too hard. Seriously, the addictions, these are symptoms of the problem. The problem is what you got to figure out in your life. My symptom took on the shape of needles going in my arms and me stealing things. For other people, it's going to be a completely different set of symptoms. But one of my symptoms was heroin. That may not make sense, right, to a lot of people. But the drug isn't the issue, right? The drug is how I'm trying to deal with the issue. And if I don't treat the issue and I just get rid of the drug, I'll find something else to treat it with. Might be gambling, might be hookers, for real. Guys turn to whatever. People find whatever. It's just whatever is going to buy you a short window of time of being comfortable in your own skin, because addicts primarily are not. So we thought it was a unique concept to have a place where people could come and say, hey, I'm having a bad day, or I'm 4 days sober, and people would celebrate that instead of making them feel like they should have just been sober in the first place. So why should I pat you on the back for doing something that you should have done anyway, right? That's society's view on us. I'm just blown away when somebody makes it 4 days. Those first four are the hardest four, right? I've done 3,100 and some change so far, right? And those first six are rugged. Those are the toughies. So that's what we do. And I thought it was pretty cool. Debbie, I'm happy you found me too. Hold on. I just want to say I appreciate each of you. You're amazing peoples. So yeah, that's what we do here. And it's the chat's hauling. Oh, you're talking about what movie? It's a Christmas movie. You know what? Why not? So there's a movie that comes out every Christmas. It's called Funny Farm. Chevy Chase is in it. You know this movie? Well, I was in it. So that was Cue the Deer. Yep. Tommy is in a Christmas movie. To be sure I am. Yep. It's odd that it has become a Christmas movie. We didn't think it was a Christmas movie when it was being made. Thanks, guys. So over drinking. I look at a bottle of booze and I want to vomit. Instead, my mouth starts watering and I have to look away. Oh, I get that. I get that. I am 8 years sober. And 8.5, I guess, 8.5 years sober. And I can't watch Pulp Fiction, right? I can't watch that movie. There's things that I probably am never going to be able to do. The movie's called Funny Farm. Chevy Chase came out in the 80s. Yeah. Love The Mailman, right? The Mailman was great. Well, you remember the road signs? Since you remember The Mailman, you remember the road signs get cut down and Chevy Chase drives off a cliff? And then the road sign gets cut down and he doesn't find his way to the house that he lives at? Well, I'm one of the guys that cuts down the road signs. There you go. See that? I answered it right before you asked it. No, I'm definitely in it. Yeah. Previous life, people. Previous life, I've lived a few. Oh, you saw it? Scoville It was Scoville v. US back in 2001. Cockfighting, huh? Yeah, see, here's the thing. I wasn't Scoville in 2001. Right? My name wasn't Scoville in 2001. I was still very much being prosecuted under a much different name in 2001. And in 2001, no, I was free in 2001. I wasn't incarcerated in 2000. I was still skiing, still competing in 2001. I wasn't even breaking the law. I wasn't even really. Oh, I mean, I was breaking the law. I wasn't robbing banks or doing anything like that, though. But I was definitely breaking the law. I was doing a lot of drugs. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. It's look, it didn't win any Academy Awards, but I once knew a girl. Seriously, a girl that I really found very, very attractive and fun to be with, and it was her favorite film. What are the odds of that? Um, do I watch MMA and UFC? Not anymore. I used to watch a lot of it, and I don't anymore. And it's not because I don't like it. I'm not. I don't really have anything against it. Um, Juliana says I was in a funny farm. Uh, so yeah, yeah, you know, it was fun. It was fun. I can't watch it anymore. I stopped watching everything. Is really what it comes down to. I will watch a documentary because I really have to for the show. Hey, you'll shoot your eye out. I have the lamp from that. Check this out. Oh, I can't pull it out because it's plugged in. I have the lamp from. It was a gift. I have the lamp from A Christmas Story, and we will bust it out for. I did the 24 hours of A Christmas Story. We'll have it out in time for that. I promise. We'll have it here. Yeah. All right, people. You know what? That brings us to the top of the hour. So I hate to say this, right? I really hate to say this, but boy, did I tell you so or what? Did I tell you my guy was going to take at least an hour, and I may as well at least fire this channel up and hang out with my people? Well, hello, crew. And look who has graced us with her presence. Lady Fiona Crispin. So happy to have popped on. Long in time to see you, Fee. Glad you are doing so much better. Another person that was praying for you, Fee. Another person who was praying for you. Oh, yeah, there's Aussies all over the place, man. Seriously, about half of the cat is a girl. Her name is Squirrel, and Squirrel is a female, but she is not here right now. I saw her right before I went live, but she's being obstinate. She likes to put in just a couple of shows a day. I don't think she's happy with Dad doing this 3, 4, and 5 show a day thing in this whole Christmas season thing. But you know what? Everybody asked for it, and you're all going to give me a bit of a break in January, so that when I do a lot less videos, you guys don't miss any of them, right? Because I'm going to have to sleep for about a quarter of that month. So you guys are going to show up and say, yeah, Tommy did a lot of videos. Let's go see him. All right. I do need to bring a little more cat in the basket. However, I'll tell you this. If I'm waiting for somebody to do this, if you're really good at editing, why don't you put this together? Go and grab the last scene of every single show that I do, right? Go to every single one that squirrels in the basket. It's got to be at least 80% of them. And then edit all of them together. So it's just one tap, 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 tap right after. I'd like to see that. I think that would be really funny. I think that would be really funny. All right, you know what I'm going to do now, people? I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to call it a day. All righty? Between now and the next time I see you, which hopefully will be in about 20 or 30 minutes over on Ron's channel. Because if he doesn't fire this up in 20 or 30 minutes, people, we're starting to get into that time of day where Tommy turns into a pumpkin. Know what I mean? I get up real early. I get up real early. Thank you, Amy. Ego next door. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you had an opportunity to stop by and see us, catch you live. To all of the new folks, thank you so much for being here, and to everybody that's been here a long time. I appreciate you. All of you who prayed for Fiona. It was pretty ugly there, and it's great to see her on the deck. I was really happy that she's here. She was the first person to organize trying to pull for someone who wasn't doing well. So it's really crazy to what the shoe is on the other foot. Really glad that you're here. I'm glad all of you are here. We'll see you over on the game, huh? Bye-bye.